Good day, this is Terry Difazio, and after a short leave of absence for medical reasons, I'm back and I'm not alone. You're watching Dial It Up. Today, my guests are Joe Batista and Peter Alexander from the North Country Soccer program. We're going to be talking about all of the different things that have happened in North Country Soccer and in the summer leagues. So why don't you guys start right in with what's going on in the summer leagues, because I went by the junior high last night, and there were a ton of cars up there. So tell us about that first.
All right, that's the Northern Vermont Recreational Youth Soccer League is the official name. Started by Joe and helped out a little bit by me. Who knows how many years ago, decades.
Yep. Decades.
And that's a youth league held, typically starts the day after July 4th. And I know it did this year because there were short refs, so I jumped in that one day. But
Was that right?
And that's for local kids, usually 500 students on 30 to 45 teams perhaps. And I know Ricky Blay, who coordinates officiating, and Mike Stanley and so on now run that. But Joe and I have nothing to do with it anymore.
Right.
About when did that start?
That
guys?
actually started in 95.
Oh, okay. So that's been going a good 21 years then.
Yeah, plus. Yeah. We, it actually started, I was the boys soccer coach, and we were playing some teams, and those teams actually did a good job on our team. So I saw all kinds of kids running around. This was down at the Burlington area. Oh. And I asked one of the parents, what's going on here? And he said, oh, it's a youth league. You have all these little kids running around. I said, all right. So I came up, I made some calls, and we started our own league. And back then, we actually had 1 year where we had close to 800 players.
Wow.
Yeah, and now, like Peter said, it's going down to about 500. But it's a good activity for the kids. It's a good recreational fun, and we have a lot of volunteers and hundreds of volunteers, and it's just a good thing for the kids to do in the summertime.
So you don't have anything to do with that league anymore?
No.
But you do have something to do with what they call the Wildcat League, right?
Yep.
Okay. Explain what the difference is in those.
Okay. Yeah, you want to do that, Peter?
Well, all right, so the Wildcats also started by Joe. What was it, Mr. Soccer? And the helping on the year, Joe. That was
our first team was in 1996. Was our first Wildcat team.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was an opportunity to get a little bit more competition, play outside the Derby area, if you will.
Oh, I see. So the difference is the Wildcats travel.
Yes.
It's like a travel team as opposed to a house team.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And the name Derby Wildcats was something that, of course, Joe came up with to signify that many of the kids were being drawn from this area, but the kids came from all over the North Country District.
Right.
And in fact, several Lake Region kids have played for at least both our teams when we were coaching the Wildcats, just to get enough numbers to play. And that has gone exponentially big over the years. They have typically about 18 of those travel teams now, total, 18 teams. Again,
in my affiliation with it now is I actually do trainings for the Wildcats. So I'll go in the evening and train some of the girl teams and some of the boys teams and do workouts with them. And of course, I'm also an official. So I referee tons of games for the Wildcats.
Okay.
Because there's not many officials up here. If anybody's interested in becoming an official, give me a call, and we'll get them work in the springtime. So.
Yeah, we talked a bit about that the last time you guys were on, and the importance of officiating, and it's good to note that so much pressure is put on officials, because the truth of the matter is, and you guys know this because you both have done officiating too. You're not going to see everything, and you're not going to call everything.
Right.
If a team is winning 10-0 and something happens, some little thing, you're not going to call because you want to get the game over with, you know? You don't want there to be more incidents, correct?
Exactly.
So exactly what sort of training does an official have to do? Because I know in USA Hockey we had a specific thing that we had to do. So can you explain the officiating process for soccer?
Yeah, okay. Well, the Youth Soccer League, of which the Derby Wildcats play in, is a statewide organization which is part of a nationwide organization. And they're very strict. You have to have a player pass ID. You have to show birth certificates. The coaches have to do the same process. Every year you have to pay an annual fee. And the officiating, which Joe does for that league now, you just can't show up like the Youth League, which does a great job, but that's a rec league. The Wildcat Vermont Soccer League is the next step up, and there you have to have certified officials. And in this kind of geographically remote area, they've had a hard time getting the officials to come up. So to maintain that home field games, if you will, at the junior high, they could definitely use more certified officials.
There was a problem last year with the high school about officiating. Somebody forgot to schedule officials for some game or something.
Yeah, it could happen.
But anyways, go ahead, guys.
But basically, the way you do get certified is if you're brand new, it's a 2-day class, basically. And once you get that first, with that part of it over, then the following years, it's basically a 4-hour class because you've already been certified, and you just have to go over the new rules and you know, the new some of the new things that are happening. Other than that, it's just 4 hours. You have to attend. There is a test. You do have to take a test.
Yes.
But once you pass the test, you're all set.
Yeah.
And you can officiate.
Now, how have for example, the Wildcat rules? Do they have a specific rule book? For example, I'll give you an example. USA Hockey has a rule book. The Federation of High Schools has a rule book. The NCAA has a rule book.
Sure.
The National Hockey League has a rule book. What rule book does say the Wildcats use?
So it's the FIFA rules.
Okay.
So whatever the FIFA. So if you're watching the World Cups on TV, those are the same rules we use for the Wildcats.
Oh, good.
Yeah. High school, it's you know, basically the same, but there are different rules for the high school. And the biggest one, if you look at that, is the time. Time for high school and college is kept on a scoreboard.
Right.
And it doesn't change. Clock for the FIFA is kept by the official. Okay, and so sometimes they may add time on, and you'll see that on TV where they'll add 4 minutes, but again, it's all on the official, not on a scoreboard.
Right.
And that's a big the difference between a high school, college, and the FIFA rules.
Yes, and if I'm not mistaken, and please enlighten me on this because I'm not exactly sure about it. Between the high school rules, which would be the Federation of High Schools,
yes,
and FIFA, is there stop time, running time? How does it work?
Okay. Yep. You want to?
All right. Well, we'll talk about high school.
Yeah.
That is running time, except for certain conditions, injuries, extended injury time. You'll see the officials signify.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Of course, between goals they stop.
Right.
Okay.
And then between halves, we just play. You know, that's it.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's right. Right. FIFA, on the other hand, there's no stoppage. The referee keeps it all on his watch. So if someone gets hurt, you'll see that happening in professional soccer. Someone will try to, you know, kill the clock a bit. He'll go down, and they'll just, I mean, you can see the clock is still running.
Yes.
The clock is, So once they're out, the game starts, but there is no stoppage of a clock. Now, what the official will do at the end, he'll add time.
Right.
They can add up to, you know, I've seen up to 8 minutes added on.
Oh, yeah.
Stoppage time.
Stoppage time, yeah.
I've seen that on the World Cup also.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And for some of us who are not used to that, we're going, gee whiz, isn't the time out yet?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that if, let's say they add 3 minutes, if you're keeping time, it could still go beyond 3 minutes if they try to delay during that time. And if you saw the Portuguese game between France, the goalie towards the end tried to delay the game, and he got a yellow card for that.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that,
Yeah.
but he got yelled at because he tried to delay the game.
Delay of game.
So in high school, you don't get that because if that's happening, like Peter said, the clock stops and it stops so everybody can see it. That's the only big difference between both.
In your opinion, with you two guys, would you rather see a clock or would you rather not?
Yeah. I would rather see a clock.
Me too.
I'd rather see a clock because it's really up to the discretion of the official. And I've seen games where teams have scored because it was on extra time.
Yes.
And then you're wondering, wow, why was that? So, but that's, FIFA has its own rules. That's what, the whole world loves it. The whole world follows those rules, and they like it. And the U.S. is a little bit different when it comes to high school and college rules.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we in America, and the other thing too, I don't know how they do it in soccer, but if you notice in ice hockey, here in North America, the clock winds down. In
Yes.
Europe, it winds up.
It winds up. Right. And
How do they do it in soccer? Is it down or up?
No, soccer, what they'll do, they'll go 45, and then they'll go up to 90. So it climbs right up.
international.
So it's ascending.
International. So if someone scores, they'll say that the goal was scored at the 81th minute, which means it's 45 plus up to 80. Right.
The high school will count down.
High school counts down.
High school counts down. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh,
right.
okay.
High school. Yeah. If you go to the high school game at
40
North
minutes.
Country, it'll start at 40, and then it'll come down, and then the buzzer will ring. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that clock can be stopped by the officials.
We are going to try to tape a boys and/or a girls game this year.
Oh, good. Great.
But the thing of it is, it has to be done on that football field because the other field has no vantage points.
Right.
Absolutely no vantage points.
Actually, the girls have one night game against South Burlington. I believe it's on a Wednesday. That could be something that could be done.
Give me
you a
that
call.
date because I want to
I
make,
will.
because last year I was going to do that, but I went on vacation that
Yeah,
week.
you were gone. Yeah, you and I talked about that. Yeah, and that should be a very good game. That should be a nice game. So.
Because what we would like to do here at NEK-TV is we do the boys football games.
Right,
I'd like to get some girls games.
Yeah.
I actually videotaped some girls field hockey games, and I promise you I will never do that again on that field.
Yeah.
Because no matter where you turn, the sun is either in your eyes or it's in your viewer. Now, if they would put a game on the football field, which they won't, I guess somebody complained that the grass was too long and somebody tripped or whatever.
Yeah,
but anyways,
right, but
I would
that's,
like to get to do a game, at least
Sure.
one girls game this year, maybe a boys game as well.
That'd be
Wonderful,
great. Yeah. Actually, Peter, just to make a pitch for Peter. Peter actually is my assistant this coming fall.
Good.
Our assistant that's there is having a baby in August. So Tracy Muzzer is her name. So she's taking kind of a little leave, and Peter's back on with me.
As
so
an interim coach.
As interim coach.
Big
right.
designation, interim. Covering from us for 1 year.
So hopefully we can win the championship and have Peter go out in the.
Okay, good. I'll take that.
I would like to see that as well.
Yeah.
What sort of numbers do you have for girls, typically from year to year?
Yeah, we're very, very good on numbers. Matter of fact, for my girls soccer team, I just mailed out 21 girls who were trying out for the varsity, and upperclassmen, 21, and for the JV, trying out for the JV is close to 35.
Wow.
So there'll be,
Not
unfortunately.
all those kids will show up necessarily,
No, but
especially the freshmen. But
Great
numbers.
But it's great numbers. Yeah.
And
it
this
is.
obviously comes from the Wildcat program and the youth league.
Yeah, it's a combination.
a feeder
it's
program.
exactly right. It's a combination, and that's why we also run our soccer camp, our soccer school, which I know we'll talk about in a little while. That also adds to the whole, picture of soccer numbers for boys and the girls at the high school. Yeah.
This year in your soccer camp, that I assume is running right now?
No. Okay.
No, it isn't running yet.
No,
Okay.
It's going to run in a couple of weeks. That's why this is good for us to.
Yeah. Okay. Can you give
talk
us a
about.
start date on that?
Okay.
Yeah, the start date is always the last full week in July. We do that for consistency.
Right.
Some of the kids will use it as a training program for the tryout procedure, which is typically mid-August,
Okay.
set by the high school conditions, August 18th this year. So our soccer camp's always the last full week in July. By that I mean, Terry, it starts on and finishes always in the month of July. In this case, it's July 25th to the 29th, Monday through Friday, mornings only at the junior high and derby.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's our 30th year.
Do you have any special instructors coming in?
Yeah, well, first of all, on the number piece, it's a really good camp. We've had 140 every year, pretty much. It's always between 130 and 140 campers that come, which is a really good number because, we do have some really, really good coaches. And basically, one thing that we try to do is use our own coaches we think this is a really good opportunity for them to train also. So we have the boys coaches program, like Jamie McKenney, who's the head soccer coach. He works at it. We have all of our assistant coaches that work. So it's a community thing, but it's also a very good way for our coaches to train and to start knowing who these players are, so everybody gets to know each other come fall time. So it's a really good opportunity for all these coaches. So
we get students, of course, from Stansted. Out-of-state kids will come up to vacation. Kids from Lake Region District will come in. So as long as they know it's that last full week in July, they kind of plan the summer around it. Yeah.
Well, over the years, what have been the points of emphasis as far as coaching, officiating, the game itself? What is currently? I'll give you an example. For many years, ice hockey had this mentality of intimidation and brutality and hurting people, and over the starting, I think it was way back in the 90s when I first started, the points of emphasis changed.
Sure.
They wanted to get away from that. They, any sort of intimidating sort of stuff, they wanted to clean that up. Now, I'm not saying that soccer is any way the same or different, but how have the points of emphasis changed over the years? And I know they have, because the last time we spoke about heading.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. So please tell us about that, Joe.
Okay. Well.
Or Peter.
Yeah, Peter, why don't you start and then I'll.
All right. Well,
jump
the
in.
heading rules haven't changed for high school soccer. So, good or bad, coaches are still going to have to continue to train kids on heading the ball. And of course, it's a way to take the ball out of a full volley and to put it in the back of the net or clear. So that hasn't changed. We read about the concussion rules. Now, that protocol has certainly changed.
Oh, yeah.
Through all coaching aspects, and certainly soccer is very much not immune to that. So that's something you do watch closely.
Yeah.
And we go through there's none of this more, how are you feeling? Count backwards. It's all goes through the athletic trainers, which all Division I programs have to have, I would hope.
Yep.
And a kid gets hurt now, protocol through like high school, of course, camp, we have our own athletic trainer. We have the high school trainer, Chelsea Bohan, and we're very pleased to have. So we just push them on to the trainer. They don't come back until they pass this test, series of tests. It can take weeks.
Well, and just to piggyback on that, the Wildcat League now, and I think we mentioned that last time we were here, the travel teams, the U10 boys and girls and lower can't head the ball anymore in games. No.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was a rule set by this year. So, in fact, I did a couple of U10 games this summer, and I had to make sure the players knew that. And we had a couple where they tried to head the ball, and it's a foul. It's a foul, and when you had the ball, and so that has changed a little bit. And so that it just started this year. Hopefully, we don't know how high it's going to go, but they're going to just start with the young kids first, and make sure that it doesn't happen. So.
Yeah, they did that in ice hockey. They put an age limit on when you could check.
Sure.
It used to be bantam. It went to Pee Wee. I think it may have changed again. But I can see that you can see the similarities. They're looking for player safety.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Have to,
So just to get back to your statement earlier about what has changed, Peter and I have been coaching forever. I shouldn't say ever, for a long time.
Just seems that way.
It seems that way, right? And back then, it was more of a kind of a kick and run kind of thing. And now I think the last probably 6 to 10 years, it's been more getting the teams to possess the ball more, and maybe
you're playing more of a possession game.
Possession game, because we have to keep up with the Burlington high schools, because they're doing that. And so a lot of times, we talk about, knocking the ball around and trying to swing the ball out of the back, and as opposed to just kicking it, because, when you just kick it, it goes to them. And actually, you're on your heels again. So it's the possession piece. And that's what we do a lot at our camp. We try to stress that in our small-sided games that we do. We do a lot of small-sided games, is stress the possession. You've got to possess the ball, because it's a lot more difficult to play when the other team has the ball. It's nice when you have the ball.
Yes.
So you try to. So that's been a little change. I think years ago it was more, who had more speed, who could run the fastest, who was the strongest. Now it's more, like I said, possess and more strategy kind of things that way.
So could it be, and a good analogy would be, it would be more carrying through the neutral zone as opposed to dump and chase.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a hockey analogy, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, dumping. Yeah, exactly.
Of course, the difference is you can't put it around the boards in soccer.
No,
Unless you're playing indoor soccer.
Right.
Right.
So
In our days in playing, to pick up where Joe left off, there was no such thing as you came to soccer practice in your soccer boots, and you'd run the cross-country trail every day, as a training program. There was no possession work. There was no triangle work. And you would just kick and run to death. And granted, that was 35 years ago for me, but and now it's all about, if you don't have the ball possessing it, you're going to get beat soundly, because the skilled players are everywhere now. They're playing year-round soccer.
Yes.
Right.
They're playing the travel teams and then some throughout New England.
like with our camp, every single camper gets a ball. Every single camper, and we want them to know that they need. So it's not 10 balls out there. It's every camper. So there's 140 kids, 140 soccer balls will be out there, because we really believe that it's so important. Those kids have to touch the ball. And if it's their ball, they're going to touch it. They're going to work on their skills. They're going to work on their juggling skills. It's a really, really important concept to have a ball for every kid. That's pretty much changed. Years ago, when Peter and I ran the camp, this is the 30th year for that camp, we didn't have that. We'd bring in 15, 20 balls, and we'd work with that.
Gave out trophies for
And we
a
gave
long
out
time.
trophies and all that. And now we really believe the ball is an item that needs to be used. And now every kid has a ball.
So at your level, at the high school level, are there similarities in how the game has changed on the national or world level? Has that changed as well as how it has changed with you guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, again, back in my days, which is close to Joe's,
Yeah.
we played a 5-man striker system up
Right.
front, 5-man line. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
You call them outers and inners, and then the center striker.
Yep.
And now it's all about defense. Everyone's loaded up in the back. You typically play with 4 people in the back. It's now very common to play at what they call a flat back 4, which Joe's now using with the varsity girls. And if you watch the Euro Cups, and they load up in the back, and sometimes we'll run just one striker up front.
Right. Right. Yeah, and just to give an example, just to put a little plug for Portugal, because Portugal beat France, so they're the European champs, and that's big, because Portugal has never won a major tournament, and I was born there, so I speak. I'm a big fan, and and Portugal lost their best player, who's a striker.
I heard that.
Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, everybody knows Cristiano. He's the #1 paid athlete in the world, and he's a big star. They lose him 8 minutes into the game. And
they still win.
And Portugal still wins because they defend like crazy. And a little bit lucky too. France was a little bit unlucky at times, but still, Portugal defended and defended and defended. They got 1 goal and they won it.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes too, and you guys know this as well as anybody. And I'll use another hockey analogy. There was a coach that I knew from Lake Superior State University named Jeff Jackson. It's how you and your players buy into the system.
Yeah.
And obviously, Portugal bought into that system, and they believed in it, and they did it.
Yeah.
And it was execution.
Yeah, and defensively, Peter talks about the flat back 4. They were, very, very perfect with it. They made very, very few mistakes, and the goalie came up with some big saves, and they beat. I thought France should have won the game. I really do. I mean, but. That's
you don't put the ball in the goal, you don't win.
You don't do it. It only takes one.
That's right.
At that level, or even at our high school level, it only takes one. That's why we try to teach how to defend, because it's a really big part of the game for us.
What are some of the stronger countries when it comes to, say, the World Cup? What are the countries that tend?
Oh, yeah.
And I know Germany's won a lot of them, haven't they? And I think Italy has won some.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it changes male versus female.
Right.
We had this discussion, as you know. There aren't. America, of course, socioeconomic, has enough money to invest in these soccer programs, whereas in Portugal, the female Portuguese team, it's just a different setup. So U.S. women's can close the gap in a short time period and then now be the world champions, or at least competitors. Obviously, we won the last one.
Yeah,
whereas the men's side, we're playing catch-up.
Yeah, and of course, I just named a few. You named Brazil is very strong. Argentina very strong. Germany, France,
Italy.
Spain, Italy. those are the big countries. And Portugal, they just won a big
tournament. Yeah.
Big tournament. The first overall. So, in the women's, you're looking at U.S., Canada
China.
Comes out with a good team.
Yep.
China, Japan. In fact, there was a huge game up in Montreal between Germany and U.S. women, and that drew thousands and thousands of people 2 years ago.
I know somebody that went to that. They said it was incredible.
Yeah,
Actually, I was at that game.
Peter was at that game.
As was 45,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the ranked #1 team. Germany, U.S. was #2.
Yeah, right.
And Germany missed a PK right off the bat. But yeah, it was an incredible setup.
I saw some football people that went up there, that work at the high school, and they said to me that was the most intense activity and game they've ever been to, including football, it was just amazing.
No names, we won't mention any
We won't
names.
mention names, yeah, no names. Just the atmosphere and just the game itself, how intense it was. And that was a women's game between U.S. and Germany. So it was right an hour and a half up the road. So,
Yeah, I heard about that game, and I'm not following soccer that closely. I could probably name 3 soccer players ever.
Ever. Yeah.
But I bet I'll name one. Well, one everybody knows, Pele. Everybody knows that. That's
Right.
the one I remember was an old guy from I think the 70s or the 80s, Diego Maradona.
Oh yeah, Maradona.
Argentina.
Yeah, he's from Argentina. I saw him play. Yes.
Yeah, he had an awful drug problem though.
Yeah. He unfortunately he's still around. Not
Still-
playing, of course, but he's into the coaching and trying to.
I guess he
straighten
was
his
an
life
incredible
out.
player, wasn't he?
He was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, he's from Argentina. Argentinian. So.
What are things that players and parents should know before they sign up for soccer and before they get involved in a soccer program, like any athletic program?
Yep.
Well, we always start with safety first. We have to. It's a physical game. If you do the research as far as injuries in high school sports, you would think football would be first, but soccer outranks because the lack of padding, of course.
Exactly.
So
You're
the
running
kid-
around in your underwear, essentially.
Yeah, when the parents come to us, maybe our 6-year-olds, grades 1, that will come into our camp, looking what should we invest in? Shin pads first, soccer boots, or you used to call them cleats, we call them soccer boots second, and then hopefully a ball, of course, to knock around. But yeah, you have to be safe if you want to keep it fun for kids. If they start getting kicked in the shins, besides, of course, the physical ailments, the kid doesn't want to play. So we always deal with that. That's what you need. That's what makes it the beautiful game.
Yep.
Is it keeps so simple as far as investment. Yep.
I personally enjoy watching high school and lower than the professionals. I find the professional game sometimes gets too defensive and it then moves too slowly. But I'll tell you, I've seen high school games I thought were incredible games, youth games that were incredible games. I tend to like it on that level better.
Yeah. It's like anything else. The soccer has gotten so good at the high levels that it's almost like they tend to possess so much, and that's part of the game, is to try to possess. I think at the high school level and the lower levels, they don't possess as well, so there's a lot more action. The ball gets banged
back
around.
and forth and back and forth,
banged
yeah.
around and
Therefore,
banged
a
around.
lot more scoring also.
And there's a lot more scoring.
Yeah.
Right. But now at the high schools, I know with my girls, and we work on this, is a lot of our games are 1-0 and 2-1s. And we don't. Just because it's becoming a defensive game, like Peter says, we don't have it 5 forwards anymore. We have 1, maybe 2, and everybody else is back. It's a defensive game. So. But the camp, if anybody is very interested in the camp, we still have 2 weeks left before. Yep. So if they're very interested, there's still space at the camp. Give us a call. Can we just give a couple of phone numbers?
Yes, definitely. Okay. And also make sure you see Janice if we don't have something up on our bulletin
Yes.
board. Make sure Janice gets that, and we'll put that on the bulletin board as well.
Super. My number is 334-2409. That's my number. And Peter's is 355-544-HEAVEN. So any of those, it would be good.
And I will mention, because I don't do Facebook, which is a source of consternation.
I don't either.
But if you get on Facebook and type in Northern Vermont Soccer School, however that works, you'll see this in a JPEG access. You can print out our application. We have several scattered throughout town. Certainly Stan Sports Stop, one of our sponsors, has them as well. And if you go to the North Country High School webpage, it's right there. It's not even athletics, it's right on their main page. Click on the icon and up comes this PDF. You can print one out as well. And certainly call us if you need, concerned about dates and times and so on. Yeah.
Sounds-
July
that sounds
25th to the
great.
29th, mornings only at the junior high and Derby.
It's a fun camp. It's a fun camp, and we do try to get players ready for the fall. A lot of them are trying out for these teams, and it's hopefully will give them a little head start into those tryouts. So,
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for being on the show. We're out of time.
wow.
We've done this twice. We'll obviously have to do it again. Hopefully, maybe by the end of the soccer season,
Yeah.
we can do a recap of the girls' soccer season.
Sure.
And I wish you all the best and continued success.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
Yep. Thank you
This
so
is
much.
Terry Difazio for Dial It Up saying, we'll catch you later. Have a good day.